give it a second here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Billy and Joe Top 10 Show. I am your host, Billy, along with my co host.
Hey, I'm Joe. Good to see you.
I don't think I've ever opened the show that way. Guys, welcome to the Billy and Joe Top 10 Show. Sorry for that little awkward intro. Our my co-host Joe Carney has a podcast. It is Indy's
Mhm.
Local Flavor. You can catch that at anchor.fm. You can also catch that at Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud. Just type in Indy's Local Flavor and you'll find it once you plug it into your search bar. And I have the Keeping the Nostalgia Live show on YouTube. You can also find both Joe and I on YouTube at the Keeping the Nostalgia Live show. You can also find keepingthenostalgialive.podbean.com. That's all one word, keepingthenostalgialive.podbean.com. We haven't had a show in quite a while on the Keeping the Nostalgia Live show, and we'll ask Joe a little bit later on the show what he's got cooked up and what he's been doing on Indy's Local Flavor. But I secured a guest today that's going to be on the 18th, a week from this Wednesday, and
Great.
it's going to be Hal Morris, who was a Cincinnati Red 1990 world champion, played for the Kansas City Royals, played for the New York
Great.
Yankees. It's going to be kind of fun. The interesting thing about Hal Morris is that he was an outstanding tennis player, an
Mhm.
outstanding basketball player in the state of Indiana. So you know how
Oh,
that
great.
my 6 degrees of separation. With that being said,
Great.
before Joe does the best job that he does in letting us know about football, I gotta give a little props to the Indiana Hoosiers.
Oh,
They
without a
hadn't
doubt.
beat Michigan since I was 19 years old, and everybody's adding that
Yeah.
up. That's 33 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll be able to hang on and continue with Ohio State on the 21st, or even be able to beat Michigan State this upcoming Saturday. But I guess we'll find out and just ride the wave as long as you
Yeah.
can. But it's been a long time coming for an Indiana Hoosiers football team like this. But Joe, take it away with your thoughts on that IU game, and also let's chat a little bit about the NFL.
Of course. That IU game was amazing. Defense really showed up big time, and really took care of Michigan. They tried to make a comeback, but that was for naught. And I think Jim Harbaugh's now on the hot seat.
Yeah, I agree with that. And if it just wasn't for the Indianapolis Colts, which you're going to talk about a little bit, they could have given another Harbaugh a loss this week, but that didn't work out too well for him, did it?
No, not exactly. But yeah, that was a huge win for Indiana. I think they're going to be in both games. Can they win them? I don't know, but I think they can beat Michigan State. Michigan State's beatable. Ohio State, that's another story, but they'll be in the game. But they can definitely beat Michigan State, I think.
Yeah, well, we all know Rutgers beat Michigan State and Indiana beat Michigan beat Rutgers. So I guess
Mhm.
we'll kind of find out about that. But that's always not the name of the game. How about the NFL wrap up?
Is it okay if I do Big Ten first?
Oh, sure.
Okay. I put this team in here because they're from Indiana, but Notre Dame upset Clemson over the weekend. Clemson was number one. Of course, we talked about IU beating Michigan. Northwestern beat Nebraska. Iowa beat Michigan State, so they're vulnerable. Maryland beat Penn State, so Penn State's kind of imploded. Minnesota beat Illinois, and Ohio State had a field day with Rutgers. But Wisconsin and Purdue was canceled. I'm guessing that's for the virus. I honestly don't know.
That is correct.
Okay. The NFL rundown goes like this. Um, the Bills had the Seahawks number yesterday, so they beat them. Um, the Bears' offensive line is struggling. The Titans beat them pretty easy. Uh, the Chiefs barely beat the Panthers, which was kind of surprising for me. The Steelers stay unbeaten and beat the Cowboys. Um, and the Colts were in the ballpark for the first half, but the second half, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens defense just took over. And Philip Rivers was kind of he got rattled, I think, and threw some picks. And the Ra- the Raiders got lucky and beat the Chargers. I don't know if you saw that game. He was here locally on Fox 59, and The Raiders are giving up 29 points, and it came down to the last call. And Mike Williams of the Chargers bobbled the ball, or it would have been a touchdown, and the Raiders luckily held them off 31-29. And tonight it's a dumpster fire, the Pats and the Jets on ESPN at 8 o'clock.
It's definitely probably going to be the Pats, even,
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it's not as much fun watching them struggle as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Yeah. And then also, too, Brady struggled with the Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah. It was 38-3.
Yeah.
Saints had that one easily.
Before we get into, we're going to continue on the NFL route, and we're going to kind of go back and forth with our top 10 plus a bonus pick on our best running backs in NFL history. We had a loss yesterday at 80 years old. Alex Trebek left us, who did almost close to 9,000 shows on Jeopardy.
Oh, wow.
Just an amazing talent, an amazing mind. And he's definitely going to be missed. What are your thoughts on Alex Trebek's death, Joe?
Well, the way I understand it, he died of prostate cancer, and he muscled through it and kept on working. So for that, that's a huge amount of courage on that. When people are on television for that long, I call it the Carson effect, Johnny Carson effect. He kind of like becomes a member of your family. So people really took his death to heart, and people are really going to miss him. And he had a brilliant mind.
Yeah, last night they had an hour special on national TV, and it was kind of sad to watch. But just 30 years, there's just a lot of memories with that. Even you can picture yourself sitting on a couch, sitting on a chair in college, and watching a Jeopardy episode.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So he'll definitely be missed.
Now, for those, his shows run through Christmas Day of new stuff, and then after that, because he was in the studio all the way up till October 29th. But what you should try before Christmas is DVR one of the shows, but watch it, and then watch it with a friend and know all the answers.
Did you see the comedians in right? Did you see the comedians in Coffee with Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks?
Yes.
Yeah, they would take Jeopardy every night and watch it together.
Yes, great stuff. It's great stuff. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the Billy and Joe Top 10 show, top 10 running backs of all time in the National Football League. And I'm going to let Joe with his Jonas, which is a bonus pick for Joe, start out.
I did do the Google Assist. I probably could have done, I probably could have done 11 from memory, but I did want to get it, I did want to get as many possible that I thought it should have been in there. And one guy that I picked was not on the top 50 Google Assist, which I was like, how can you not have him in there? My number 11 pick left Indy to go get a ring, Marshall Faulk.
Ah, that's nice. I have Marshall Faulk within my list, but not that low. Someone who could probably be really close being my bonus pick, but Marshall Faulk had a great career. He started out with the Rams, right? And then Colts?
No, Colts, then Rams.
Okay. Yeah. But too bad he didn't get a ring with the Colts. Too bad that he couldn't do that.
Well, he saved Peyton Manning's first season. They were 3-13.
Right.
He saved him.
Yeah. One of the Colts too that I really enjoyed. Do you remember the name Curtis Dickey?
Sure.
Yeah, he was a good running back. That just reminds me. But I thought I'd toss a little fun at my number 11, I guess, with my bonus pick. And man, you just look at the stats, man. Or maybe his end zone celebration, Ickey Woods.
Sure, of course.
Let's go with the Ickey Shuffle, man. No, I was going to toss him in the top 10, and I thought, man, you would just freak out. So
no. He was fun. He was a fun running back.
But Ickey Woods, I have on there just for a little fun bonus pick. So and the Bengals,
yeah, sure.
Poor Bengals.
Did you by chance see the Fox pregame at 12 o'clock yesterday?
No, I did not.
I was really surprised. Peyton's older brother, Cooper Manning, was on there with Jay Glazer. I was like, he's great.
Yeah.
So he was really great in what he does. My number 10 pick, if this guy didn't play football, there is no football. Red Grange.
Oh, nice. A nostalgic classic way back pick right there.
1920.
Man, with the leather helmet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Chicago Bears.
Well, with actually, if you went without that leather helmet, you'd have better protection than with the leather helmet.
Or exactly.
Yeah. So my number 10 is Christian Okoye.
Oh my gosh, I don't have him down, but he was a monster.
Yeah, and I got to watch him play, so he just I think if it wasn't for injuries, the sad thing is what a running back lasts maybe a max 5 years, or maybe they get 2 or 3 years of great just because of injuries and the wear and tear on knees and the physicality of the National Football League.
Right, and you can get full NFL retirement if you last 3.5 years. So I think that's the running back factor.
Right, you get the vested so that when you do retire, you get your retirement package. So,
right. My next one, his knees are super bad now, but he was amazing when he ran for them. Tony Dorsett.
Oh man, I have Tony on my list, but I got him a little bit higher. But man, Dallas Cowboys. And I was conflicted when I was a kid between Raiders, Steelers, and Cowboys.
You couldn't go wrong with any of those teams.
And then all of a sudden, I picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and didn't see them win a game one year.
Right, 76.
Yeah. So my number 9 is Marcus Allen.
I obviously have him higher, but he's on my list.
I'm sure you do. You also played for the Chiefs a little while when they brought in Joe Montana and tried to make a little run at possibly for the Chiefs winning a Super Bowl back in the mid 90s. But Marcus Allen, and we, he's got a connection to one of my other top 10 picks that are going to be within here. But take a guess if you want, people. But we'll chat about him a little bit later too.
I got a story about Marcus coming up. My number 8 pick, I don't know. Well, I get why he changed, but he was never the same after he changed. It was Larry Zonka.
That's interesting because I also have Larry Zonka on my list. He comes in at number 7. But once again, I think it's that time period that we grew up that, he was still prevalent in the NFL, and just because, they'd been undefeated and won the Super Bowl, nobody's ever gone undefeated since then.
Right.
He's also in Ballers, the HBO series that's on.
Wasn't he an MC on Gladiators?
I think you were right with the big puffy Q-tips that they used to fight with. Yes.
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 Exactly.
Yeah. My number 8 he was just a beast. And like I said, you give these guys another 2 or 3 years of health and wellness.
Yeah.
They would probably all be vying for the number 1 slot on both of our lists. And that is Herschel Walker.
I don't have him, but the Vikings got him and sent 4 people to the Cowboys for him. He was just a monster, especially, well, he was a monster at Georgia, and then he came to the NFL and had more of that. He was amazing.
Now, what's interesting, you did a little bit of Google assist. I am not the NFL guy. You are the NFL guy here on this program. I did mine all from memory, and I just had someone zip into my mind, which I may make a real quick exchange-o and not be caught on this exchange-o, but
that's fine. Go for
it. All right, man.
It's tragic that this gentleman can't walk today. It's totally tragic. He never got to a championship because of the Steelers, and
4 times in a row, I think.
Right. And he could run over anybody. Earl Campbell.
And make some damn good sausage.
Hook 'em horns.
Earl Campbell is on my list too. He comes in at number 3 on my list, but I remember actually watching him on Thanksgiving Day, UT playing Texas A&M Aggies. And it was all about Earl Campbell as a small kid, knowing that, it's, interesting. I didn't take off on football, but I did. So I am going to put it number 7. I told you I had Larry Zonka. I'm going to make a little change here, and I'm going to put Bo Jackson.
I
Just for Tecmo Bowl alone.
You couldn't stop him. You couldn't stop him on that game. I love Bo Jackson. I'm a Bo Jackson guy all day long. Did you see the ESPN 30 for 30 on him?
Yes.
When he jumped across the river to get home in time in one leap, I was like, yeah, I'm a Bo Jackson guy. He's not on my list, but in my opinion, they put so many people in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, he should be in the Hall of Fame, but a lot of people say he didn't have a big enough resume.
I mean, if you have the number one of the top 2 or 3 replays or video highlights in history, it's him barreling over people. I think against the Seahawks and
Brian Bosworth.
Exactly.
Yeah. My next pick, I had the most touchdowns in a season, and ended up playing for the Jets at the end of his career, LaDainian Tomlinson of the Chargers.
Oh wow, I forgot about him, and that's what happens when you do that off of memory.
Yeah,
yeah, and coming in at number 6, we've already chatted about this. Also, is Marshall Faulk, the good old number 28.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was the reason why Kurt Warner has a ring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, one of the bigger reasons that Kurt Warner has a wing is that Trent Green blew out his knee.
Definitely.
And Kurt Warner is bagging groceries in a grocery store, and then all of a sudden, 6 months later, you got a ring, and make it to the Super Bowl one more time, and that's just what an incredible dream job that was.
And he's a great broadcaster on the NFL Network, so great guy. My number 5 is number 32, came from USC, got the Heisman Trophy, Marcus Allen. He butted head. He in his first year in the league wins a Super Bowl, him and Jim Plunkett. And but he ends up butting heads with Al Davis. And his last year, okay, he's a marquee running back. His last year, when he comes into training camp, he's number 4 on the depth chart. Okay, Marcus Allen. And so he knew he wasn't going to start because Bo Jackson was there. So he played fullback for Bo Jackson. How many marquee running backs would do that now? And the Raiders team voted him player of the year.
Yeah.
So I don't know any marquee running backs that would settle for fullback.
Yeah. Now, my number 5 is just because of a certain play and because he was cool looking, and on top of both things, he had a cool looking football card, and that's Franco Harris from the Steelers.
I respect Franco Harris, but I don't like him.
Yeah, Franco Harrison. Who was the other guy in the backfield with him? Rocky Bleier, right?
Rocky Bleier is an amazing guy.
Yeah.
His story is amazing, but I don't like Franco Harris for the immaculate deception.
Love it.
My number 4. I wasn't a fan of this team, but I respected this team, Emmitt Smith.
Yeah. While I was attending Indiana State University from 86 to 90, Indiana State football, which is Division 1 AA, went to Florida and played Florida. It was on TV.
Oh my!
And we had 5 minutes in, we had 3-0 lead.
Okay.
We were going crazy because Indiana State University Sycamore football sucked when we were there. Same way with the basketball program, sucked when it was there. And I think we ended up getting beat 56-3.
Well, you tried.
Yeah. My number 4 is from Sealy, Texas, which is about maybe 12 miles from my house, and that is Eric Dickerson.
I like Eric Dickerson was a Raider and a Colt. He's the only Indianapolis Colt to be in the Hall of Fame. He's great running back, and people used to bust his chops because he would run standing up, and it didn't matter because he'd fly right by you.
And if I'm not mistaken, the first person to break O.J. Simpson's record of 2,003 yards in one season.
Yes, yeah. Great runner.
Yeah.
My number three, great running back. Didn't have a quarterback. Didn't have receivers. Didn't have a defense. Barry Sanders of the Detroit Lions.
Man, I have him at number 3 also. That's very interesting. We both have him coming in at number 3. And could have played another 2 or 3 years and could have ended up the number 1 all-time rusher.
Right.
I mean, hell, man, the Lions ought to just play all their games on Thanksgiving. Wait a minute.
Right.
That's confusing.
Great coach either. So
no, they didn't. No, they didn't. But Barry Sanders was a spectacle to watch. That's for sure.
Definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah. So my Earl Campbell came in at number 3, and and it is a shame that Earl, got rocked so many times that he's in pretty bad shape. But hey, still kicking it, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, these last 2 picks. I got to see what you got going on here, man. Let's see if we both have the same number 1.
Number 2, if this guy didn't play football, there wouldn't be football, in my opinion. I was really disappointed. I went to Canton, and they didn't have his jersey at all. I was like, get out of town. NFL Championship 1964, Jim Brown.
Oh, man. And once again, that's why you are the best in the NFL top 10 picks that we do on the show. I absolutely just blew that one, man. Jim Brown is not even on my list.
Oh, wow.
I am so. And that's your number 2, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm disappointed in myself.
Well,
that's okay. Disappointed in myself.
That's okay.
And for me to roll out this name at my number 2 is just, I'm ashamed, shame. And that's O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson was a great player before he went nuts.
Yeah. But I have him as, and I loved collecting his football cards, man. And the Buffalo Bills were cool, kind of like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Yeah.
So,
he was a great running back. No,
I have the juice. I have the juice at number 2. And what's very interesting, and drum roll, please, is I think we probably both have the same number 1.
I wouldn't, because he's the man. When I went to, when I went to Canton in 2010, they had a huge display on the side of the building of him. It's he's from Jackson State, and better known as Sweetness. It would be, and he didn't score a touchdown in the '85 Super Bowl that he was burning hot about. It's Walter Payton.
I got Sweetness at number 1 also. I think that's pretty interesting. I still feel pretty bad about not picking Jim Brown in my top 10 and even making fun with Ickey Woods, man. I feel really, really bad, but I got Sweetness as my number 1 running back.
Yeah, he could do anything. He really could.
Yeah.
He could even play quarterback. He could throw passes. He could do anything.
Yeah. So. Well, that is an interesting Billy and Joe top 10 show of the National Football League top 10 running backs. I'm still going to kick myself for not picking Jim Brown. Okay. I have an idea for next week. You tell me what you think.
Sure, of course.
And that is maybe the top 10, 15, top 20 with some Jonas's musical acts that you didn't understand or I didn't understand, but were very popular and we never got into.
You mean like Bon Jovi and John Mellencamp and?
So you never got it. You never were a Bon Jovi fan or bought a CD or saw Bon Jovi in concert.
Or Barry Manilow.
I'd go see Barry Manilow on the drop of a hat for my friend.
Or Bette Midler.
Well, that's where Barry Manilow got his start.
And Vanilla Ice.
That's, okay. So yes. I was thinking like the Grateful Dead is crazy.
I'm the same way. I like one song.
I will get Touch of Grey, Yeah.
Or I like one song. That's
it. High on Cocaine or Traveling that Train. High on Cocaine. Casey Jones. I think it's Casey Jones. So I think that would be an interesting list of top 10 bands, musical artists, groups, genres, whatever you want to slap in there of things that went nuts and are still nuts today, but you or I just did not get into them.
And the hair bands for me is too broad because I really like some of them, but some of them I didn't get.
Yeah, I loved hair bands.
Right.
Loved them. So I think we'll do that next week. Entertainers, singers, groups, genres that we didn't get, but most
Everybody
of the
else did.
world did. Exactly. So
Right.
please check out the Indies Local Flavor, which, like I said earlier in the day, is on Anchor.fm. He's heard in several different countries, gaining new listeners on a daily or hourly basis. Joe, tell us about your last program or shows that are coming up on Indies Local Flavor on Anchor.fm.
Sure. Basically doing the sports format because it's NFL and fantasy season. However, we did do a really nice tribute to Sean Connery last week, and we had some time to fill last week, and we talked about how education in Indiana is failing our youth by not teaching enough history to our youth in Indiana. It was really solid conversation.
Also, check out me and Joe's show on YouTube, the Keeping the Nostalgia Alive show. Please subscribe to our channel. Please go to Facebook and type in the Billy and Joe Top 10 Show and subscribe, like, follow our page. This program will be up on there pretty quickly after we get off here. But we look forward to we have a show once a week. We try to make it Sunday. I get tired. Joe gets tired. We try to make it once every 8 or 9 days to make some kind of regularity out of it. But we thank you guys for listening. And Joe, once again, top notch on your picks. I apologize for Jim Brown.
That's okay. One final question: how many Sean Connery movies have you seen recently?
I'm sorry. I put on the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and that's the only one I started.
I think I told you I saw The Last Crusade, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I watched that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did. We did watch that. I flipped it on just for, just because he had passed and it was just right there, bam, right in the front of your mind. We did watch that though. Yeah. And, and thinking that he was 60 years old when he did that.
Right. Then I watched The Rock was on Hulu. And I watched The Untouchables on Amazon Prime, and I'm on Finding Forrester, and that movie's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace, Sean Connery and Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
So I'm Billy.
Hey, I'm Joe.
And we'll see you next week on the Billy and Joe Top 10 Show. Have a good day, everybody.
Enjoy your evening.